are starting with the name of Shabbos Parshat Pekudei, based on the Sheni Tavshin Chafei from your Dvar Malchus and from your downloads. Ela Pekudei Mishkan Mishkan Ha'edus. Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe Avodas Halavim. These are the numbers and the count of the Mishkan that was counted by Moshe, the service of Levim, Yad the Somer ben Aaron HaKohen, by the hands of his Somer, the son of Aaron the Kohen, who was in charge of taking this poll and this amount, this number of the different items that were collected for. But variable to the Torah explains the question that everybody has over here: why this double lashon? Elip Kude HaMishkan, Mishkan HaEdus, that seems to be repetitive. Say the word Mishkan once, and there's different explanations and different ideas about it. So the Alter Rebbe the Torah explains that's referring to different levels in Oil Mitzal Yoin. So he says, Mishkan HaEdus Hu Inyan Yehuda Ilah. The level of Mishkan HaEdus, that is the level of the supernal union, the union and unity of the highest levels of Atzilus, Yichud Yudke, the unity of the letters Yudke, Sheva Pasuk Shema Yisrael, the level of Yichuda Ilah, Bittul B'Metzias, that all the world are entirely subsumed in Hashem. That is the level that's expressed in Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem Elokeinu is referring to Yichuda Ilah, Havaya is referring to Chachma, and Elokeinu is referring to Bina, that's Yudke. That's the higher unity that's to be found in Atzilus. The Alter Rebbe over there in that Maimer explains that's why it's called Mishkan HaEdus. Edus is a testimony. You do not give testimony over something that's revealed. Something that's concealed and hidden is something that you give testimony on. So it's referring to the level of Yudke, Chachma, and Bina, which are concealed. They fall into the category of Alma Diskasia, the concealed world. And then it goes on further, Mishkan, line 8. What is the level of HaMishkan that it said before that? That's the lower unity. That's the level of Bittul Hayesh, the level of that the worlds do have an existence, the worlds do have a value, even though they are bottled to Hashem. Yichud Vavke, it's the unity of Vavke. Vavke is Almadiz Galia, Vehaniglois, as it says. That's the level of Hashem, the unity. That's a lower unity. The worlds exist. The worlds have have some type of significance. That's hinted in the pasuk v'ahafta. Why is it hinted in the pasuk v'ahafta? Because the pasuk v'ahafta Hashem Elokecha, this is a love that comes about based on intellect and reason. Perhaps that's also connected with the fact that it's b'chol vavcha b'shnei tzarecha, with both your nefesh elokis and nefesh habahamis, because the nefesh habahamis can only relate to a love of Hashem that's understood and logical and rational. So therefore, the pasuk of Ahafta is talking about intellectually based love, and that type of intellectually based love is a type where it's yichuda tata, where the person is coming to it from their own intellect. They're coming to it from their own understanding. So this means that they relate to the existence of the world, but the world is bottled, and we're loving Hashem, which is higher than the world. And we're going to explain this a little bit more about the different levels of the love that comes derived from the world, or the love that's beyond the world. It says in line 11, but before we recite Kriya Shema, which contains in it both Mishkan HaEdus and Pekudi HaMishkan, Yehuda Ilah and Yehuda Tatam, Hikno Anshe Knesset HaGdolah Psuke de Zimra. Anshe Knesset HaGdolah established the verses of praise, all the things that go in davening that are inserted from Hoidu Bar Shamar. So Inyan Avodas Halavim, like it says further in the pasuk, Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe Avodas Halavim. It's the service of the Levim. The service of the Levim hints at the level of the Psuke de Zimra. Why? Because what was the Levim's avodah? They were Beshira over Zimra. They They played musical instruments. They sang. And we know the idea of the Avodas Halavim, the musical instruments and the singing. That's all idea of rushing towards Hashem and returning, which is the idea of Sukkot Zimra. It's again, Zimra is from the word Zemer, Zimra, the songs of the Levim. It's all about appreciating and rushing towards Hashem and then pulling back. This is all preparation to elevate the soul, to be able to reach the level, well, it'll make the unity of Kriya Shema, the Yichud Ilav, Shema Yisrael, Shem Elkeinu Hashem Echad, and the Yichud Zatov V'Ahavta. Omnam, Tachlis HaKavana Hi, but the ultimate goal and purpose of all this is Hamshech Rotzi V'Shuv Hanal, B'Chinas Kli, to draw down this rushing towards Hashem and coming back from Hashem, all should come down in a vessel. How does that take place? How does that come down to a vessel? That's through the study of Torah in a state of nullification before Hashem, sublimation before Hashem. So this is a further thing that says in the pasuk. After it says Avodas Halavim, it says V'zel biyad itamar. It says biyad isamar, the hands of Isamar. Isamar was the one that was in charge of the collection and the numbering and the bookkeeping. So the Alter Rebbe translates Isamar Miloshain Itmar, and this could be Gemara Talmud. The word Itmar is constantly used in the Gemara when it wants to tell you a statement of halacha and so on. It says Itmar. It was said, but the way it says is not Vayomer and he said, but Itmar, it was said. What is it was said? Its meaning is that automatically, as if by itself, it was said and spoken. Very interesting. This is reminiscent of what was spoken about last week concerning Teyasim Malachim and the seventh day. The 6 days of the week, work should be done by itself, not that you should be invested in it. In a similar way, but not the same type of way. Torah you have to be invested in, but we have to realize it's not us. We have to approach it with a bit. The speech of the person has to be in an ultimate state of bittul, until it is something that it feels like it's not coming from himself. It's as if that the words of Hashem, which is Allah, is like spoken within him in an automatic way. So, this is the same idea that in Kriya Shema, following, it goes right away into Vidibarta Bam. They should speak in them, meaning, because you need to make a vessel, you need to make a keli for this love that you have for Hashem, for this Ratz V'Shuv. The vessel is the study of Torah. Yad Isamar ben Aaron Akoy. Concerning this, it says, in the hand of Isamar, the son of Aaron Akoy. That the Isamar, the Itmar, the study of Torah, is a result, an offspring of Aaron Akoy. What's Aaron Akoy symbolized? As it's known, at the level of Aaron HaKohen is the level of the great love. Aaron was the idea of Chesed, the Chestatilis. He is the one that draws down top of the next page. This power and capability is Kol Seder Avodah Zoysa should be this entire order of Avodah sight. And the Alter Rebbe concludes over there in that Maimer to the Torah, through the level of Aaron, Shehu Inyan Abba Rabba, that he's the level of this great love. Nimshach HaKoyach L'Srusto L'Sata, comes out the Koyach and the empowerment for the inspiration down here below, like we've had many times, that they work off each other. And we had this also in last week's Mimer, that before you could have the Sarusa de L'Sata, before you have the inspiration down here below, you need to have the inspiration from above. So this is the level of Aaron. Isamar is a result of Aaron. Aaron empowers us because of the level of the Ava Rabbah, the great love that comes from above. It empowers us to be able to have our inspiration of love from down here below. Any questions? Okay, base, page above, line 4. יש לקשר זה, עם הדרוש שבתחיל סלקות התוירה על ספר שמויס, דיבר המסחל ראו כהווי נס מלחמת השבת. We can connect it with the mimer in the beginning of the Torah, the first mimer of the Torah on the Sefer of Shmois, with the title, See that Hashem gave you the Shabbos. We spoke about Saray last week, that the first mimer in the Torah is the mimer Ru Hashem Nes Mechem Shabbos, and we connected it with the last mimer of Torah and Vayakel, and we also connected it with the last mimer of Megillah Esther. But over here, the Rebbe is connecting the mimer of Parshas Pekudei with the first mimer of Likutei Torah. It's known concerning the difference and distinction between the two levels of love, that there's Avas Olam, the level of love of the world, and there's the level of Ava Rabbah, the great love. And actually, in davening, there is different nuschos. For example, in the bracha we make right before Kriyas Shema in the morning. So our nusach is to say Avas Olam. Nusach of many others, and I believe it's Nusach Ashkenaz, they say Ava Rabbah. But this is not wrong. It's just different types of levels of love. I'm not going to go into it right now why in our nusach we do Avas Olam, neither of Chassidus nor in the simple sense. But these are two types of levels of love. The Rebbe is going to explain what are these two types of levels of love. Line 9, Avas Olam via Avish Nukachas Menoilams. What's it mean? In the simple meaning, Avas Olam means an everlasting love. We know Olam means forever. But Chassidus explains that it's a love that's taken and derived from the world, from our understanding and appreciation and our meditation on matters of the world. We come to the conclusion about Hashem running the world, etc. From meditating and thinking into the godly life force that gives life to the world. That is the level of Avos Olam. So what results from that? If a person's love for Hashem is derived from their meditation about the world, so then the love in turn takes on worldly aspects to it. What's it mean, worldly aspects? It says, since the world is limited, therefore the love that comes out of meditating upon the world and the godly life force that vitalizes the world is also a limited love. As opposed to the great love, it's a love without boundaries. Literally, Rabba means great, much, a lot. There is no holding it in. Why is it great? Why is it unlimited? Because of the meditation or the source where this love comes from. Since the Ava Rabbah does not come as a result of meditating on the godly life force that gives life to the world, rather it's a love that's beyond the reason and knowledge. It's a result of the essence of the soul. These two types of the difference between these two types of love, the love that comes out of meditation, or the love that comes out of the essence of the soul, is also the difference between weekdays and Shabbos. During the weekdays, the work is in the toil, is in the matters of the world. In the 39 types of labor, the sowing and the plowing, etc. Why did Hashem create work and the types of work and the different 39 types of labor, they were established for the Mishkan. But from that, there's a trickle-down effect into the world. From the fact that Hashem wanted these labors for the creation and the making of the Mishkan, therefore, from that eventually evolved that there's these mundane matters that a person does it for himself. So it's not like how we commonly think about it. We have labor, we have work, and we plant, and we sow, and we plow, and we do all these things. Hashem asked us as well, you know what? Do some of that for me. Do some of that in the building of the Mishkan. No, the Rebbe's approach is the opposite. All of these things were originally created so it should be able to be the Mishkan. Then afterwards, from that came out that we also have a part, like the idea of gold. That Chazal say that gold was, the world was unworthy to have gold, but Hashem wanted the gold for the Mishkan. That's why He created gold. So what does it come out from that Maimon Chazal? That really the fact that human beings have gold is only a byproduct, a result of the Hashem wanting the gold for the Mishkan, the Mikdash, and so on. The same thing that Rebbe is applying it here concerning the 39 types of labor. In a similar way, it's brought down that when it comes to tzedakah, in a similar way like the gold, that tzedakah is the same way. That really Hashem gives us money to give tzedakah, but He allows us to keep 80% of that. So it's a good deal. You know, if someone makes you an executor for the estate or an executor for some charitable fund and says, your percentage will be 80%. So the same thing the Abishah does with us. He says, you know what, you're going to be an executor for my tzedakah funds. I need people to give out tzedakah to poor people, and your cut will be 80%. It's a great deal. That's a great way of looking at tzedakah. Instead of looking at tzedakah as it's my money and I got to give away 20% to the poor, that's hard. But if you think of it, no, it's Hashem's money, but He was kind enough to give us 80%. That's a whole different approach. Anyway, I've gone a little bit far afield. So the Rebbe goes on to say in line 23, after they descended from the 39 types of labor that was used in the Mishkan, now it descended to be mundane type of labor. Now they are not considered the work of the Mishkan. They are matters of the world. Melosh and Helen Behester, from the expression of concealment and covering. So therefore, being that it's not Mishkan type of work, so there's a possibility for the Olam to be prominent over here, that the concealment should be prominent. You shouldn't see godliness. Therefore, we need to put in to that daily work as something that's going to uncover the concealment. Therefore, a person has to affect within himself. There is involvement in worldly matters. That all your ways should be, all your actions should be for the sake of heaven. And all your ways you shall know Him. Corresponding to the fact, top of page Zion, that the main aspect and the main reason of these labors was for the sake of the making of the Mishkan. Through, and to such a degree that through thinking into the godly life force that gives life to the world, the person will arrive at love of Hashem. That is the level of the love of the world, like we said up to now. So again, we were trying to explain the distinction between Avos Olam and Ava Rabbah as the difference between the weekdays and the Shabbos. So we start off by saying that in the week we are preoccupied with the world and elevating the world and showing how the world is really a continuation and an aspect of the Malachas HaMishkan. And with that type of approach, so then every person looks at the world and everything in it from the godly perspective, and he sees the godly life force, and from that he comes to a love of Hashem. Shabbos line 4 as opposed to Shabbos day, then it's prohibited to be involved in worldly matters. Not only that, but as we know from last week's parsha, that you're not allowed even to be involved in the building of the Mishkan on Shabbos. How much more so when it's the 39 malachas as it is in worldly things. And to such a degree are we removed from worldly matters that even other worldly pursuits that are quote unquote permitted on Shabbos, they need to be done in a different way. He says in the parentheses, to such a degree. Even the physical matters like eating and drinking, they're not just for the sake of heaven. They themselves become a matter of a mitzvah. To delight with in Shabbos, with the delight of eating and drinking. So we see to such a degree how much the world is not in the picture when Shabbos comes along. Either we divest ourselves from the worldly matters, we do not engage in worldly preoccupations, and even those things, those worldly things that we do engage in, those are things that are done in a way that it's the mitzvah of, it's a mitzvah type of activity, not just stamina activity. So therefore, or in this regard, just like he's removed from the physical, so too the love is also removed from the world. Not like the love during the weekday, that's because the person is engaged with the world. So therefore, it's a world-derived love, but rather in a gam avas Hashem on Shabbos, the love of Hashem on Shabbos in a way that's entirely removed from the existence of the world. Therefore, it's beyond measure and boundary. That's the idea of the great love. I'll send them one more paragraph concerning this. It says, See that Havaya gave you the Shabbos. So it's an interesting expression. Specifically, it says, see. Why you can just say Hashem gave you the Shabbos, and therefore you will not collect the month today, and you will get double portion on Friday, etc. What's this ru'u? Why the emphasis on the word see? This was something that was actually visible in a revealed way, like they actually saw with their senses concerning the month. Like it says in the continuation of the pasuk, therefore he gives you on Friday 2 days worth of bread, a double measure of the omer. Instead of the single omer per person, it was given a double measure. So therefore, we see in the midbar we saw the Shabbos in actuality. We say in Shabbos that all matters of Shabbos are in a way of an increase and in a higher manner, in a greater manner. For example, eating and drinking on Shabbos, basar shamin, rich meat, v'yain mevusam, spiced, flavorful wine. And therefore, so if it's that way in the seeing that we see how Shabbos is different, so that also has to be in our internal experience of Shabbos. This is also understood concerning the great love of Shabbos. That's in a much powerful and greater way, incomparable to the previous days of the week. But in additional to this, the Kivun Shavaya Nasan Lochemes HaShabbos, it says, see that Havaya gave you the Shabbos. This idea of a gift, this indicates this even more strongly. This is something that was given from above. A person can't say, this is beyond me, it's not my, I don't hold by this level of avarab. But it doesn't apply if it's being given to us. If it's being given to us, so it's a gift from Hashem. Concerning something that's given from above, it doesn't matter the state and situation of the one down below. Like it's known, the example given from when something that is high and something that's low needs to join. So there's 2 ways how it can happen. Either the one below joins up and meets up with the one above, or the one above goes down and joins with one below. So it says like this. When the joining is through the one that's above, descends to the one below, then it doesn't matter the state and situation of the one below. Since it's coming from above. If it's coming from below, so can I make it up there? Can I climb this mountain? Can I reach this height? Maybe, maybe not. I gotta know, am I capable of it or am I not capable of it? But if it's about the one from above coming down to me and sharing, that's a totally different situation. Let's say you have a Rav and a Talmud, and the Talmud wants to join and understand his Rav's ideas. So there's two ways. The Rav can bring it down all the way to the level of the Talmud, or the Rav can expect or hope that the Talmud should work his way up to the level of the Rav. So the Talmud working his way up all the way to the level of the Rav may or may not happen. There's no guarantees. Could be the Talmud is not up to it. But the Rav coming down to the level of the Talmud, that's something that's totally, the Talmud cannot say it's not up to me. It's not your doing. The Rav is coming down. So that's what the Rebbe is saying about Havaya Nosan L'Chamis HaShabbos. This level of Shabbos that we're talking about, this great love, this level that's beyond Seder Shtalshlos is coming down to us, is being given to us as a gift from above. Hooray, top of the next page. Mi ma'akiv biyodeh. When it comes to Hashem, nothing can be an obstacle, nothing can stand in his way. Like it says in the pasuk, Mi yomer lecha ma ta'aseh. Who will tell you what you should do? There's nobody, chas v'sholom, that can limit Hashem and can tell Hashem, no, you can't go down there. But when it comes to us, we are limited by our very nature. Maybe we can't reach up there. Maybe we can't go up there. Therefore, when we say Havaya Nos Chavis HaShabbos, so that's something that this great love coming down from above, it's something that there's nothing to stop it from happening. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, okay, it's coming from above, but you have to be a Keli to absorb it. And if you are Megusham and you are at very low level, you might not be able to relate to it.
You're right. But it's definitely a big difference between if it's given from above and we just have to make ourselves into a Keli, or if it's something that we have to work on attaining because it's not given to us. So if we have to make ourselves a Keli, that is a much more simpler thing. It's like saying, let's go back to the example of the student. Could be the student has a lot of stuff on his mind and he's confused about different things, whatever. That's already something that the student can be told, or he could tell himself, I need to focus now and listen to what I'm being taught by the Rav. That's much more simpler. That's much more doable than just saying, I'd like you to work yourself up to the level of grasping what the Rav is teaching without him bringing it down to you. It's a whole different type of situation completely.
I'm not fully convinced.
I'm sure you can come up with another muscle yourself.
Yeah.
When that happens, is it diluted, or is it less in quality or quantity than
when what happened? When what happened?
When it comes down from above and the
Just
Keli
the
doesn't
opposite.
exist.
The whole point that's coming down from above is that it's not diluted. When it's something that's coming from me, that's according to my capabilities, it's limited. It's like the Avas Olam type of situation. Here, that's coming down from above, since Hashem has nothing that could stand in his way, so he could bring it down the way he's able to bring it down, not
but
the
still,
way.
the Luchot Rishonot nishberu, and they had to do something from below for it to exist.
You're talking about they had to do tshuva.
Whatever.
So we could, again, the point
you dump on somebody something that is way above his capabilities, nothing happens. But if he's slowly working his way up, then he has something.
That's why we could say you have to have both Shabbos and weekdays. And that's why the Eibishter did give the Luchas Rishonos and there was looks achronis. Why didn't Hashem L'chatchila go with the looks achronis? Say, work your way up, because we need to have both. We need to have the contrast of Shabbos and the weekday. We need to have what we do during the week, and then, as a result of that, we worked on ourselves. Now we have the gift from above.
Okay.
Okay, Atzlacha Rabba. Take care, everybody. Till tomorrow.